hard to keep track of everyone. So excuse me if I miss anything, and with that we are underway, and we see all of our players going off into the intro stage. Intro stage belonging to whoever mashes the fastest. Meanwhile, oh, here's my problem. I am trying to get myself hyped for this race, but I forgot to put my sound on my headset, so I was like, huh. There we go. Lots of really cool music going on right now. The only reason to really love the intro stage as a casual, as a runner, as a whatever here, whatever you feel your role is, it's the music, it's amazing. And we have the bees. We're looking for these people to get good RNG on the bees. We don't want to see passive bees, and so far everyone seems to be getting along just fine. No one getting trolled by the bees and having to take a little detour, so the second one from the front, meaning everyone can just run on through. Meanwhile, I'm thinking of things to tell you guys about the players, potentially. Valves is probably, I think, the oldest X1 player out of these 4 people, so he has a really good time, but he hasn't been playing much anymore. He kind of quit running the game a while ago, so we're looking forward to see how he pulls the punches here with all the experience he has from times past. We see task cars going for him in Tokyo. Tokyo, for some of you, may be more known as an X2 player. He has, I believe he had previously had a world record in there and has a really good time. But don't be fooled, he is also quite good at X1. And with that, we see the first couple of vials coming down on the screen, and some valves in Tokyo. And Niakky also got his vial down there, but he does seem to have miscalculated his HP a little bit, so he needs to take a little extra slap in the face before Vials is willing to grab him. And then Zero to the rescue, ×4. It's possibly even better of music in the intro stage, because the intro stage has some really cool music, and then you have the awesome Zero team. Sadly, it hardly lasts, and we don't really have the time to listen to it because it's a speedrun, so we gotta get going. Speaking of speed, everyone's sitting on a pair of blue boots right now, and no matter what anyone else is gonna tell you, they're not designed for running. So, you know, people are looking to pick up some white boots over here in the Penguin stage, you know. Apparently white boots have a speed +9 bonus to them. They also unlock the dashing ability, so they're not only fashionable, they also give you speed. And with that, we do see small differences coming along so far between the players. Valves has taken a little lead over Kaz so far, and Tokyo has taken a small lead over Niakky. Nothing too big, but you know, any lead you can get early on is still nice to have. And it seems Niakky took a little hit somewhere on his climb up. But it's not a big deal. There's plenty of enemies in the Penguin stage that can give you a little bit of HP, so you're usually never in danger here. We do see Valves and Tokyo getting no-stop hallways. Kaz attempting the no-stop hallway, but sadly gets stopped by a mean ostrich that did not feel like going out of the way just yet. Niakky does not attempt it, and therefore also does not get it. Would have been quite something if he didn't try it and still got it, right? And now, Penguin, RNG boss number 1. We're gonna try to look what the slides are like. We don't really want slides. Penguin is a hard boss to deal with. It's all reactionary. I've personally even tried to practice this guy just today. Honestly, it's ridiculously annoying. And slides aren't even the worst. In fact, even worse than getting slides is when he decides to chain them. And with that, we see Tokyo getting a really good, I believe it was a 4:45 or so kill time on Penguin. That is extremely good. Valves looking for mid 50 time, and Kaz right behind him. So top side actually nearly tied. Only a couple seconds between those players. While Tokyo seems to be accruing a bit of a lead there on the bottom. However, something that you all should know is that in the X community, we have a little nickname for Tokyo. We slightly altered the name and we call him Chokyo. So, you know, nothing's ever done with this guy. He, might still have stuff going on, you know, joke a little bit here or there, and then Niakky just walks in like, hey, hi, I'm here. Kuwanger up as second boss here. Kuwanger generally a quite difficult stage. It's a lot of climbing and stuff on the hands. There's some annoying enemies, an elevator that is kind of a break time. Still, at the same time, even though you think you see obviously these players get in a position like Kaz over there, so you can just glitch on the side and be like, okay, I'm just gonna stand here and it's all fine. If ever you don't know how to use the glitch to get so close to the side, there is a chance for you to always die here. If you don't pay attention, you can actually get crushed between the elevator and the spikes, which is, well, quite obviously not what you want. And meanwhile, globally speaking, Tokyo has been getting a lead over all the other runners. He's mostly looking to get ahead of Niakky, of course, but you know, he's ahead of everyone. Tokyo number one, at least for now. Oh, Kaz getting some problems there on this climb up to the Kuwanger door. Tokyo meanwhile has gotten the Kuwanger dance going, and Kaz got a lucky health drop there on the top left. So he was very low in the HP, meaning Kuwanger could be dangerous, but the refill puts him in a safe zone. On the other hand, Valves is fairly low on HP. I think he could actually die. Oh, sorry Valves, curses are real, just deal with it. I will preemptively apologize if anyone feels like I'm overly attempting to curse Valves, but he was my first actual friend in the X community, so I mean, all of the times he said, ha, I'm faster than you, I mean, gotta get him back somehow, right? And Tokyo, meanwhile, got past Kuwanger, and Kaz finished this fight as well. I do believe Valves was a little bit ahead of him, but because of that, Kaz caught up and is now slightly ahead of Valves. And I do believe that both of these players on the top side will be running low percent, so unless Kaz does safeties that I'm not aware of. But we'll be seeing about that pretty soon. Niakky on this fight with Kuwanger gets a little close look at the ceiling there. Kuwanger's like, look, I have a nice building, smash. It's like, I believed you without that, thank you. Kaz, meanwhile, attempting to dodge a whole bunch of rocks in the chameleon cave. All of this is RNG, and sometimes these rocks are impossible to deal with. Usually they're not too bad, but, you know, now and then you get into this cave and you just think to yourself, why do I deserve this? Or how did I deserve this? Tokyo, meanwhile, on the boss fight that we shouldn't even talk about because it's, well, you know, so straightforward, as you can see, just a stun lock. And Kaz slightly ahead still of Valves, but just racing through that chameleon stage. Just really close, tailing each other. Niakky moving to his own way now in the chameleon stage. Also looking to dodge the rocks. However, it takes a bit of an optional bonk there. It's like, I don't like getting bonked by rocks, I'll just take this rock dude instead. I mean, that's always an option to take. It's not ideal. And Tokyo goes for the laxity strat there. It's something we don't see a lot of players do. But you can actually jump up a bit quicker on the start of Eagle stage if you have the right movement. But it does cause heavy lag, so it's not easy to move through. No dead kick for Tokyo. Probably scared he would choke that. And on the top end, we do see both Kaz and Valves still neck and neck, now entering the Eagle stage. And Niakky, meanwhile, has entered Chameleon just at the same time as Tokyo is entering the Eagle fight. Eagle is another quite big RNG boss, and you don't want him to do dives, because that's bad. It loses time. It's not as bad as it is in Hundo, but it's still bad. And Kaz, meanwhile, we saw on the upper left, actually went and picked up a safety sub-tank, saying, no sir, I don't like dying at the end of this this game. Sigma's too hard for me, so, you know, either that or he likes to cuddle with evil villains in this series, and, well, you know, that costs a lot of HP, so... So, oh, Niakky over there, looks like he's gonna go for... Wait, whoa, Niakky, what are you doing? Whoa, we're flying, boys. For anyone that has seen a lot of 100%, you will have seen that there is a glitch called a Phantom Grab, and you can actually go and replace an item in a boomerang by grabbing it at a certain time. And it will replace the item in the boomerang with another item that's just about spawning on your screen. And potentially you can, for example, grab a platform with that. And then you get to do really cool stuff, like fly across the entire Eagle stage. So Niakky's saying, look, I went with a detour to take the heart, which is actually not a really great heart to pick up in any percent. It's far out of the way. But of course, if you do get the Phantom Grab right after, you will still catch up some time, I believe. So, with that, that's really nice to see. Niakky showing off what he can do. He might be a bit behind Tokyo, but he definitely has some stuff going for him. Even if Tokyo is winning the race for now, Niakky's winning in swag points, so that's a separate category in itself. And on the top side, we see Boat Runners dealing with Thunder Slimer right now. So really still super close and tight. Tokyo still ahead of everyone right now, onto the Mandrill fight, rather. Getting a little punch in the face. Mandrill not exactly happy to get visitors in his lair, usually. Tries to punch him right back out. And Tokyo finishing off Mandrill right as Kaz enters the fight. And right behind him will be Valves on the final hallway. And right behind him will be Niakky, who is about to enter Thunder Slimer. Well, Kaz getting a couple hits there from Mandrill. It's actually pretty bad if you get knocked off the wall, because you're going to take 2 hits. One from getting shoved off the wall, and then one from falling right on top of Mandrill. So if you're fairly low on HP and you're on the wall and he punches and knocks you off the wall, it's almost a guaranteed death. So always have to be a bit careful of that. And as Kaz teleports out, Mandrill explodes on Valve's screen, so something is gonna have to break the top side race for sure. One of these two is gonna have to run out somewhere, somehow, because right now they're both doing a fairly good run and no big mistakes, so nothing really setting them apart too hard. Outside of Valves' death and the Coanger. And meanwhile we see Mammoth on Tokyo's screen. Tokyo facing the biggest enemy in the game decides to miss a tornado. But, I mean, perhaps we should have given him a bigger enemy. Jeez. God damn it, Tokyo. Niakky, meanwhile, facing Mandrill. Oop. Doing his best to get those double hits in. And doing pretty well on just that, and is fairly close to the middle on the ending of the stage. And top left, we see Kaz picking up Safety Heart as he goes through the Dillo stage. I do believe that on Valves' end we have seen no safety items, and neither on Tokyo. Kaz picked up a couple, and so did Niakky. Valve skipping right past the Dillo Heart as well. It's worth to mention that this can make a big difference in the topside race between these two players, since if Valves will have a much higher chance of dying in the Sigma stages compared to Kaz. Tokyo, meanwhile, doing his own Dillo stage as well as Niakky. Tokyo is in fact quite far ahead of most people, but he has taken a different route, so it's not like he's behind suddenly. Valve's getting a bit of rolls out of Dillo to start this fight, meaning Dillo is giving a little bit of an edge there to Kaz, being a little bit further ahead. Not out of reach, but a little bit further ahead. And also you do see Niakky is on the Dillo stage as well as Tokyo, but I do believe there's an entire stage of difference between them. I don't think I said that got the clash, but I mean, perhaps you have a bit of a Freudian illness going on. I'm pretty sure. Ah, Kaz! Jesus, don't. Those spikes are bad. No, don't jump in them. Spikes are bad. So Tokyo getting a Dillo out of the rolling pattern. After that, fight's free, but you know it's quite an annoying fight to do as long as he's got that armor. Octopus, meanwhile, next option for Valves and Kaz, but jumping through the water like cute little mermaids. And Niakky, ooh, getting trolled by Dillo, rolling around his room like a 12-year-old child that doesn't know any better. Except that this room is too clean to belong to a child. So, Tokyo, I do believe on his last Maverick here, will be heading into Octo as his final choice. Mammoth is put in anywhere you want, so Tokyo did that, I believe, as 6th, if I'm not mistaken. Excuse me, it's hard to track all 4. And that means that he's on his last now, and I do believe that Valves and Kaz will both be heading into Mammoth right after this. And Niakky there going to Mammoth, which I believe is the 7th Maverick. And that will be the end of that. Kaz, meanwhile, is exploding Octopus, and I do notice that he cut off the arms. Cutting off Octo's arms cuts out all the RNG from the fight. So we see Valves right there, struggling with some swirly tornado attacks from Octo. They're actually really easy to deal with because they give you a couple of free hits on Octo, but they do cost you time. Also, if you jump into the swirly attack, there is a chance for you to get infinite comboed. There is a certain thing in the coding: if you jump into the drain attack at a bad time and try to mash out, you might just get stuck and be unable to get out. So Tokyo, meanwhile, having actually a really solid run, is right now looking for his final hit on Octo at 1909. That is a really good 8 Maverick time, 8 Mav time. And Niakky currently on Mammoth. Oh, Valve's having a little slip off that one ledge. Let's take a little detour to the bottom. Mammoth going down for Niakky, meaning he can also move on to his final Maverick stage. And Tokyo has actually completed all of the Mavericks and will now be heading into the Signal Fortress. Even though the Mavericks are not The 8 map section is not really the hardest part of this run. It's definitely challenging, but to be fair, the real challenge does begin in the Sigma stages. Movement here at some sections is quite important, like the leap of fate you just saw Tokyo do, that really big pit. And the refights are all there. You need to fight every boss again as well as a couple extra. And you really have to be on point because you have very little HP and safety to work with, meaning that all your mistakes add up very fast. Niakky on his way to his final Maverick, and on the top side we see both runners finishing up their 8 maps and getting ready to hit their own Sigma stages. Tokyo, meanwhile, does the file skip. This skips an extra text box and saves you a little bit of time. However, it does mean that you have a chance at soft locking. However, most runners rarely get the soft lock. It's pretty easy to do for a glitch. Even casual players would have very little issues if properly explained. Of course, if you are trying to hurry, you might always make a mistake, but generally this poses no threat for a runner. On the top side, we see Kaz going very low, down to 1 HP. He has to be low for File to grab him, but 1 HP might be a little bit overkill. Anything under 6 is alright. So, we see file skip going on for Kaz. Valve's right behind him. Doc! Kaz, what are you doing? I'm just talking about that it's not difficult to do the file skip. You mess it up. Is your name Shokyo? I think not. Yeah, just as I mentioned it. So, Kaz will have to reset his console and go to the password screen, and this will put him back at Sigma 1. So, yeah. This will put Valves a fair amount ahead of him that this happens, and that really breaks the top race open. Valve's now in the lead, will have to do his best to maintain that. I did mention Sigma stages are really deadly, so not only can you soft lock it. No, Kaz, oh my. Oof. Valve's killing File, and yeah. On Kaz's end, we see him having little issues with the climb up to the Sigma Fortress. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, we see that Niakky has caught up to Valves and Kaz as well, and Kaz making another visit to the Leap of Fate pit. Didn't see exactly what happened there, and Tokyo, meanwhile, far ahead of most people, is now tackling Bow Spider. Not really sure what's going on Kaz's end, but he's probably gonna look to be taking it easy here, so he climbs up, makes it in there. Alright, is now back inside the fortress. Now he just has to make sure it doesn't soft lock again. Niakky, meanwhile, visiting Vile, looking to the skip. Please do not soft lock. And Valve's actually getting some Kwanger dance going on during the refight. It's slightly more difficult to pull that off in the refight compared to the initial fight with Kwanger. I learned that today. You have to move slightly forward after your first hit because your homing torpedo does knock Kwanger back further than a normal buster shot. Oh, thank God. Okay, Kaz through the Vile skip this time. And Niakky, meanwhile, equal with Kaz now. Not that it really matters because, I mean, they are not racing each other for the tournament, but Tokyo dealing with Sigma 2 meanwhile. Sig 2 very well known as the heavy RP stage. We know that both Penguin and Eagle are in here, and both of these have a pattern potential to really mess up your time. Penguin doing a lot of slides, and Eagle a lot of dives. But we do see that Tokyo's not having too many issues and is still on quite a lead, so even if he gets a bit bad RNG, he's going to be alright for now. Valves, meanwhile, taking down Bow Spider. Niakky starting up on the Kwanger fight. and Kaz in hot pursuit of everyone after that unfortunate start to the Sigma Fortress. Niakky playing around with Koanger. Has a lot of the homing torpedoes flying around. And Eagle going up for Tokyo there. We'll get a couple dives by the looks of it. Nothing too bad. Ooh, Kaz is really low fighting Koanger. We'll have to be careful that he has no problems because, I mean, he did die, I think, twice after soft locking, so I'm not sure, but he might be at 0 lives right now, meaning if he dies at this point, that he will have a game over. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but I don't think he will have any lives left right now. So Tokyo well ahead of everyone right now, taking on Rangda. His base opponent is a complete Sigma stage behind. Getting fairly good eyes there. Valves, meanwhile, a half stage ahead of Kaz, who still needs to do Bow Spider, and Penguin is already passed by Valves. Now looking to go up for Eagle. Niakky and Kaz tied, fighting for the honor, not wanting to be the last of 4. Oof, Kaz, oof, he's at 1 HP now. He will have to be a little bit careful. If he gets baby spare at any point, he will have to watch out not to get hit. Has some good patterns though, so that seems to be alright. And Niakky, meanwhile, finishing Bow Spider, having a pretty nice run. Tokyo getting Dillo Skip for free. And nice. Kaz makes it through Spider, no issue there. And may have to consider, just in case, if he wants to take a quick death at the start of Sigma 2 to refill his lives. Because if he does run into any trouble right now without lives, let's say that he dies to DRX or Rangda, that is going to be a major setback if it happens. And Valves, meanwhile, trying to remember his good old strats. How do I do this fight? Been a couple of years. Doesn't get the 1 cycle, but still got about 3 hits in, so not too shabby. Niakky tackling his first RNG boss for Sigma 2. Kaz about to start on the same thing. I did not see if Kaz actually took a quick death at the start there. Since I'm trying to watch everyone at the same time. And Mandrill, ooh, giving Tokyo a hard time there. Punching him around a little bit. Tokyo may actually opt. Sigma 3 has a health refill in between all of the refights, so Tokyo may actually opt into getting that extra health right before the octopus door. To be safe. There would be no shame in that. And he attempts it. And is now doing really weird things as he throws away his boomerangs. Oh, okay, but he does realize that he needs those for DRX. Is now struggling with the blowfish. Oh, they're like, come here, Tokyo. We love you. You tasty. Oh, that's funny. So, respectively now we do see that on the bottom side, Tokyo has a really quite big lead. He's over halfway to Sigma 3 stage. Niakky still has to do Rangda, and is quite a ways behind, probably a minute or 2. So we have to look for Tokyo to make a mistake for Niakky to catch up. On the same idea, on the top side, Valves being ahead of Kaz, we are kind of looking for the same, only in the reverse order. Valves making a mistake, allowing Kaz to catch up, as he heads into Rangda with Faust already halfway through Sigma 3, now tackling Mandrill. Niakky opting to do only 2 hits on the nose there on Rangda. It's actually, for a lot of players, it's really difficult to kill the nose first, because it's really hard to deal with the eyes in a small confined space. You can barely see which eye is opening and will be attacking you. So, a lot of people do choose to kill the eyes first before taking down the nose. What happens when Mega Man is glowing is actually that he's charging. I don't know, maybe we have a little bit general lower quality because, you know, running all these streams on a restream at once is quite heavy. But if you see Mega Man glowing, then it means he's charging for a big shot. Tokyo making quick work of D-Rex and not take a single hit. And Niakky going for the Dillo skip with the damage boost there. There are a couple ways to do the Dillo skip, that was one of them. You can do it normally, just place the sled with a couple visual cues, or you can take a little bonk from those enemies and get bonked into the right position. And with that, we have top side fairly close. I mean, a half stage between the two of them right now. And on the bottom, we see Tokyo looking to take the race, heading into Sigma 4. We know he has no safety items, so yeah. Oh, actually, oh. Yeah, wait, as I see the chat now, if you mean the rainbow effect on Mega Man, like you see Kaz was just charging, you see the little balls around him, that means he's charging. But if you see the rainbow effect, that is actually a charged C sting. Charged C sting renders you immune for a certain amount of time. Meaning that nothing can actually touch you, you can even stand in a spike pit and be completely alright, nothing can happen to you. So, Tokyo has taken some damage in Sigma 4. He is now going to get killed by anything touching him. That is a great thing to look forward to, as his opponent is like, yeah, please do, because I'm right behind you. I would like to have a chance still, so please do that. I'm sure this will be hype for everyone, so we'll soon find out if Tokyo is an entertainer or not. Valves, on the other hand, also heading into Sig 4, cleaned out D-Rex, and Octopus going in on the side of Kaz. Kaz and Niakky still neck and neck, even though it's not exactly relevant. And Tokyo dealing with the claws. So far, getting good pattern. Right claw rolling interference, but not enough to take down Tokyo. He's well aware of what's going on and dodges out on that. One more hit, and Tokyo takes first place with an official time from RaceBot with 32:14. So that's really good from Tokyo. That's a very good time to get. Valves now taking on Jedi Sigma. It's probably pretty hype. I think there was a new Star Wars movie out or something, but you know, I don't keep up with things, so do I know? Don't worry, I can't spoiler you because I have not seen a damn thing. So Niakky on Mammoth together with Kaz. Kaz actually started that fight a little bit earlier, so these guys are actually kind of like battling to be like not last place as it looks right now, but I mean Valves could still die on Sigma 4 as well. So I mean Valves can still land in last place too. Valves getting trolled by the claws a little bit here. Got some poor luck there to start out. Does seem to take it his time, making sure that he doesn't get hit. And both Kaz and Niakky. Oh! Valves is down! Sit down, give everyone a chance. Kaz is actually just having D-Rex exploding. This means by the time Valves farms his resources back up, Kaz will in fact be in the middle of Sigma 4, so he's probably going to be ahead of Valves going into this final fight. This means Kaz has a chance. He has a chance. Niakky has no way to win anymore in the bottom side, but he can still catch up to the other runners and at least try to take an honorable second place. Alright, Valves checking his resources, knows that he's well on his way, and there we see Kaz going in versus Valgarder. Valgarder, not your toughest opponent, but still no slouch. He's pretty strong for a doggy. And Niakky as well, dealing with Valgarder. Gets a lot of spark thrown over him, doesn't even have to move. Valgarder clearly not having his aim on point. And Valves also trying to take no hits here on the dog. Wants to take no risk. And top race right now is really close. We're looking at these two runners, both on Jedi. Half of the HP bar is down for Kaz, as Valves does a second try on its fight. But let's not forget, Kaz does have safety items. Valves does not. But even at that point, claws are coming up. Claws are beep. You know, it's pretty censored because that's really rude. And you know, claws can decide this game very easily, so we'll have to see. Even Niakky right now on this final fight has caught up to you. Oh, Cass falls falls off and needs to sub tank. This is really close. Valves having his HP bar filled up on Sigma. Both runners, so close. Claws not being nice to either of them. Niakky dies. Oh boy. He didn't have anything to worry about because Tokyo was already done. And on the top side we see Kaz finishes. Nice. He actually takes second place with an official race bot time of 35:59. And Valves right behind him with an official race bot time of 36:14. Wow, well that was a really tight race there on the top end. Niakky now, the only one that still has to finish, will be looking to refill his resources on these little worms. Just give the man a moment, he'll be right in there. And he will be moving back up, taking the fight once more to the Sigma bosses. Yeah. Meanwhile, the runner is discussing a bit of the race here. Valves and Kaz talking to each other about what happened. Yeah, I didn't see the exact death of Valves, but I see him explain here in the race channel because that he got actually butchered by the one claw. And this is actually a thing that can happen on the claws, is that one, you have the claw on the right and it's not necessarily dangerous as long as it's just floating around there and spawning lightning or something, but sometimes the claw on the right will come over and it will push you against the wall right as the left claw is beneath you and spawning a lightning. If that happens, there is potentially a chance that it stucks you against the wall and there is no way for you to dodge the lightning, meaning if you've taken any damage at all so far in Sigma 4, that you just have to sit there and watch your own death. Yeah, you have no choices. That RNG just determines, yeah, you're gonna go down and there's nothing you can do about it. And now we're just looking for Niakky to finish, so give this man some love in the chat. Scream him to the finish line. Do that whichever way you wish, in a polite way or kind of a rude one. It's all the same to me. And there we go. Niakky gets a visit from the right claw, dodges out on it. Nice. Does not get too much lightning from the left claw, so that's always something that's nice. So decides to sub tank since he would rather not. Claw, don't do that. Okay. Niakky drops down. Calm down. It's alright. Everyone's finished. You can take your time. Dodges out on lightnings. There we go. Official race ball time of 38:30 for Niakky. And finishes his first race with that. Niakky claiming in the race chat that his first death was on Wolf Sigma there at the end. He was pretty scared about dealing with it the second time around. This is actually a really big deal. If you die on Wolf Sigma once, then it is indeed scary to take it again. Because, you know, it's really dangerous, claws control you. God dang. And you just sit there like, no, please don't kill me. Please. Wow. Guts DKC going ham on Niakky. Wow. I mean, wow. Thanks, Peace Capone. I have no idea. That's the secret. You have no idea and just try to look and then try to react to some visuals. The only thing that's, of course, easy if you suddenly see a bunch of little balls from X exploding as he dies is quite something. Then you can quickly look and, oh wow, this guy died over there. I may not always see the exact details, but you know, Let's take a look. Meanwhile, we have the runners still in the race room. And both the top and the bottom race, I believe, have indicated to be racing a full set today. So we will be having another race in just a moment between Kaz and Valves, and between Tokyo and Niakky. Kaz did actually go AFK for a little moment, need to get something apparently. So if everyone needs to get a little drink, some popcorn, some chips, some I don't know, some memes, whatever you ran out of during race number 1, go pick it up for race number 2, because yeah, you're not really able to go anywhere yet. Meanwhile, we can see some credits in case you didn't know who worked on this game. You can read all the names right there. And if you were interested in knowing what the enemies are called in all of the stages, you can actually, at the credits here, you see on the Niakky side that all the enemies do have a name. So they scroll over right there. Left cannon, a flamer, a sky claw, that read. It's a little bit blurry, you couldn't see it. Yes, memes. Do you guys not like memes? You need more memes. This chat is so quiet. I don't know what the real memes are, honestly, for these races or for the speed gaming channels, but I do meanwhile see that all of our runners have joined back up in the race channel. So all we need for them to do right now is to ready up, and then we can go back in. Niakky, take a little look if he still has the right settings. Somehow got start set up messing around with the settings there. I don't know what he's up to, but I would not suggest putting start as the shoot button, because I mean, you might just, well, I don't know, you'd have to be, yeah, that's just being really sadistic towards yourself. Tokyo, meanwhile, showing off his best gameplay. I mean, sorry, that's the introductory tutorial. Oops, my bad. Got me fooled there. And Niakky is apparently playing on the Wii version. This is something I recently found out, that people play this on the Wii as well. I did not know that you could run an emulator on the Wii and play MMX there. Woohoo! Firing a sled into the butt of the mole boar. Let's see, meanwhile, we see that most people have readied up. I am fairly confused. Oh, right. Apparently Valves was still AFK, but he was returned now, so I assume he will be going in soon. I do not know which emu that you use on the Wii. I personally use an emu on my PC. Virtual console, I don't know. Look, the man himself is right there in the chat, telling you guys what he's using. Kaz as well has his key configuration open, as well as Valves. Actually, they might be just messing around in there to keep on track for the race start. Speaking of which, we will be getting back in just a second. Bum, 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 and there we see everyone looking at the game start, moving around, and where are we going? Where are we going? Come on, you guys. When are we going? We see a Wii menu for Niakky. Oh, Tokyo on it now too, so I suppose we'll be in there for in a second. Right, alright, and there we go. Race number 2. Valve still without a timer because, well, you know, probably doesn't want to see how terrible it gets when he dies on Sig 4. And Kaz taking a little bonk there at the start of the intro stage, so lost a little bit of HP, not really what you want, but if you don't get bad RNG on the Bs, that never really matters. Something actually small that probably we never really mention, that does make a little difference for speedrunners, is that at the very start of this race, actually you could already see a whole, or I think maybe even 2 whole seconds of difference between runners. As you press the start game button right at the main menu, then you will see your green charge flying across the screen, right? And then it will fade out and you go to the intro stage. However, if you press start once again, then the screen will fade out a little bit faster, saving you at least a whole freaking second on that intro split. So, you know, if you are running this game and you didn't know that yet, enjoy your free second. You don't have to pay me for it, but yeah. So, meanwhile, we have progressed through most of the intro stage. Task cars being done by Valves with a lot of HP left, and actually a lot of HP on Niakky as well, but both Valves and Kaz have gotten their HP down. Tokyo at 1 HP. This is like really the one place in the game where you can be on 1 HP and really have almost nothing to care about. Valves and Tokyo being the first people with file on the screen. Do mention that the file, even though he is generally just designed to not kill you and just cage you and then get his arm blown off by Zero, has the potential to kill you. There are a couple rare instances in the intro stage where he dashes towards you and instead of caging you, for some awkward reason, decides he is Mario and tries to thump you on the head. Usually this happens so rarely that it gets you off guard and you actually get to start over. So I don't think we've seen it yet in this tournament, but you know, now and then you do see runners go start the run and we're like, oh look, it's a good intro stage, and a while goes, hello Goomba, and there you go. So far free run. Back to the start menu. So the start slightly different. We saw Valves a little bit ahead of Tokyo, but Tokyo seems to have somehow miraculously caught back up again already and is now like probably the whole second ahead of Valves. No big deal really, everyone close to each other. Niakky did fall a little bit behind in the intro, but not too much, not too much. It's worth to mention that Tokyo made a promise to Niakky in between these 2 races, and he said to the man, do not worry Niakky, I will choke it all away this time. So let's see if Tokyo is a man of his word or if he's just a poor cheater. Giving people false hope. So, Tokyo first out of the cave, taking a little lead on everyone. And everyone getting into the hype mech. Although, you know, usually people get really hyped for mech strats, and you're like, oh cool, we're getting a mech right here. But then, like, in the Penguin stage, I mean, it's supposed to be used, so... Valves taking a couple bonks on the snowballers. The snowballer section, if you want to do it without getting hit, is pretty difficult. But if you're not very trained in it, damage boosting through the entire thing is honestly the easiest thing to do if you want to be fairly quick. And with that, we will be going back on counting slides on Penguin. Let's see if Tokyo can pull out the same time as he did before, although it does look like Penguin is giving him a much more difficult time than last run. So Tokyo gets still a 4:48, that's a very nice time. And we got a 54 for Valves and a 5, let's say 01 for Kaz. And meanwhile, Niakky getting blocked off by a couple statues that popped up out of nowhere. You know, Niakky! Penguin decides to slide all the way through his statues and smash Niakky right in the face. Like, half my headbutt. Yeah, taking him off guard, needs to start the fight over. That will put him a fair share behind Tokyo. That's rather unfortunate. Fire Krillin, yes, this is actually a 1v1 and a 1v1, so the top two players will be facing each other in the bottom two. There was a fair difference between the two runners on the bottom in race number 1, but the top race was really close. And well, by the looks of it, Tokyo has now gotten a fairly big lead this early in the race, but you know, he promised to choke it away, so I already said that. We'll have to see what he does. And on the top side, Kaz actually getting bonked out of place was a little bit scary. Niakky meanwhile finished up Penguin, so can now go back to hot pursuit of Tokyo. Oh, Valves falling off that ledge for a second. And honestly, he's pretty much tied up with Kaz. They're both pretty much on the same screen. Only like one ladder between the two of them. And then Tokyo just had Tokyo being a memer and going for Iceless, and has apparently forgotten how to do that thing. And allows Niakky to... Oh, Tokyo, what are you doing, my boy? You've not played X1 in a long time, and I mean, there are easier safety items to get, but all right. I hope someone's keeping count, because I think we were at about 10 or 11 tries by the time he got that. Oh boy, Tokyo. Although Udalum is have to wonder if he grabs that, is he gonna go and do 100% or something? Because you know we've seen other people do 100% in this tournament. Berlin dude, for example, did take one race as 100%, and 100% does technically count as any percent. So, I mean, we'll just have to see what Tokyo does, if he's just messing around with his Iceless, or is he actually gonna go and pick up everything now. And on the top side, we see both runners have actually finished off Gwanger. Valves was slightly faster at it than Kaz, but yeah. Hard to tell where that's going, and Niakky meanwhile has closed out the gap with Tokyo a fair amount. Tokyo just teleporting out of the Gwanger fight as Niakky enters it. Tokyo probably easily lost 20 plus seconds with his Iceless attempts. And on the top side we see both players dodging rocks, both taking a little hit in the cave, nothing too bad. Can get pretty bad in that cave you go about. And Tokyo goes to Eagle stage. So we know what's going on. Tokyo is going to do 100%. So we're gonna see him do all of the strats. There's a phantom grab, and he's gonna be riding cards. So Tokyo will do a completely different route from the other runners now. It will be very hard to compare what's going on for him compared to the other runners. He will probably be stopping now for the helmet. Yep. He might also turn this into the biggest meme ever and run 97%, but I don't know if he'll do that. That would be really silly. And Niakky, meanwhile, rushing into Chameleon State. Niakky will actually have to try and get a lead on Tokyo by the time he gets to the Sigma stages. As Tokyo, if he does go 100%, will have a big lead with having all the safeties and whatnot in the Sigma stages. Niakky does get a bit smashed around by the rocks though. Whew. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Takes a hit or 4 in that cave. It's kind of painful. Luckily, Chameleon is not a boss that will do too much to him as he gets there. And Tokyo looking to get as little lives as possible because he does not have C-Sting now in the Eagle fight. And on top, we still have Valves and Kaz neck and neck. However, this time we're turned around compared to the start, where Kaz was a little bit ahead of Valves, and Valves now still in the lead. Kaz picking up safety items, gets a sub tank and Eagle. Meanwhile, Eagle explodes on Tokyo's end. And Niakky taking on Chameleon. No one else picking up the helmet. Such a fashion statement to miss. How sad. Valves and Kaz both going to Eagle. Will be less painful if they get any dives, since they do have C-Sting, so the dives still hurt, but a little bit less than in Hundo. And Tokyo will now be looking to go to Mammoth, where we will pick up a sub-tank, a hard tank, and a early buster upgrade, unlocking quite a lot of things. And this Tundra, Tokyo got quite a bit ahead of Niakky, because Niakky took a death on Penguin, unfortunately. And Valves and Kaz both having Eagle exploding on their screen. I don't think they're actually even more than 5 seconds apart at this point. Yeah, for people who really enjoy the Tokyo having a little bit of a miss there on his ice sled, trying to get up to the sub tank. Let's see if he gets a phantom grab here. I think he might try to go for it, but he's too slow, unfortunately. So he does grab the hard tank on the bottom of the boomerang, which is how people usually do it. Mostly they don't try the phantom grab on hard, but you can use the sub tank to phantom grab the hard tank on the bottom. Niakky, meanwhile, has gotten another magic carpet going for himself on the Eagle stage. Rides it all the way to the airship, meaning that he's going to have some extra assistance in this fight from this flying carpet. I don't know, Tokyo is doing 100%. Is it because he believes he can totally crush his opponent? Maybe. Is it BM? Is it memeing? Is he high? I have no clue. We can only ask him after the race, of course. I cannot exactly know what is in his mind right now. And meanwhile, we see Niakky having that platform still flying around. He tried to get on the platform so he could fly away after Eagle explodes, but unfortunately did manage to get onto it. Probably should have gotten on first right before. And meanwhile, on the top side, we see Mandrill stage has been completed by both Kaz and Valves. Kaz will be going into the Mandrill fight first, which means that he has actually overtook Valves. So these two are neck and neck. Valves was still ahead of Kaz in the last stage, but it looks like Kaz has decided to take over for now. We'll just have to see how the rest of that goes. Meanwhile, on the bottom, it's really hard to tell what's going on. Tokyo, I do believe, is in the lead still, but I mean, he will pick up the Hadoken, which takes him quite some time, having to visit the end point of Dillo 5 times, and on the 5th time, the Hadok capsule will be there. Also, Niakky almost taking a death there on the bottom as he takes a bonk right above a pit. And here we will see both of them tackling Thunder Slimer, and Tokyo makes such easy work of that with the Charge Tornado. And unfortunately, this boss is really difficult in any percent, so you're going to see Niakky struggle a little bit and take some time, while Tokyo is already on his merry way to Mandrill, as he just needs to fire 2 Charge Tornadoes to take care of that boss. On top Dillo stage, probably not going to make a lot of difference for the top race, as Dillo stage is so straightforward. There's no difficult movement, it's mostly minecart, right? So it's hard to catch up or pass up on your opponent, unless one of them drops a card somewhere. It's also worth to mention something that you don't really see a lot. Kaz with the safety art there. With these cards, especially the last one, you can clip through. If you land on the card, I believe, if the card is moving upwards, right as you're moving downwards to land on it, there's a chance that you can clip right through the card. If that happens, then you will lose a lot of time because you have to go back to pick up a new card and whatnot. So, and all the enemies will be in your way. Tokyo going to Dillo now. Fight that both Kaz and Valves are on. Taking a look at those health bars is really close. The top is pretty much tied. They're like a second apart. Wow. Okay. Holy crap. Let's see. Tokyo will try a Phantom Grab here, but does not get a drop to get that sub tank in a Phantom Grab. So we'll have to probably try that again later, or just go for it the good old-fashioned way with C Sting passing by the mole board. Yeah, backgrounds in this game are actually, I know, this is never really talked about, but there are some really nice backgrounds. Like, you see the Dillo stage there has a lot of this mine background stuff. Sigma 2 has, I believe, a rising sunset in between Penguin and Eagle. There's generally some really nice stuff going on graphically, but I know it's not something we tend to mention. This doesn't really belong to the gameplay, and it's less obvious than the soundtrack, for example. Tokyo, meanwhile, visits that little top ledge there where the health drop is. He needs to see that point 5 times, and on this 5th visit there, if he has all the items, all weapons, all sub tanks, and all hard tanks, the Hadoken capsule will spawn in there. Hadoken, originally a Street Fighter move, but put into X1. That's a bit of an Easter egg. Is actually the most powerful weapon to be seen in this game. Can one-shot any boss or any enemy, with the exception of Sigma himself on his final form, and a couple... oh boy, this top race. Jesus. Wow. And a couple extra enemies. Well, wait, let's just see on the top side first. Kaz will be going for the strat where he cuts the arms. So if Valves gets some good RNG, he will probably take over here. We see that he's slightly ahead on... yeah, okay. Valves now a little bit ahead. Not too much, maybe like a couple seconds that he got out of that. But, you know, I need a little bit of counts, because we see that these two are really, really close to each other. As I was still saying about the Hadoken, actually it's not entirely true that it's a complete one-shot item. You see, for example, Tokyo there is on the bottom, dealing with one of the subs. Now, the subs have quite a lot of HP, and the Hadoken is actually not literally a one-shot, it deals 32 damage, meaning that if you hit it on a boss of any kind, you will always kill them instantly. There are a couple enemies that do have more than 32 HP, the subs being one of them. I believe the Utoboros that you see here as well, and a couple others like the mole borers in the Dillo stage, RT55J and Chameleon. These bosses, or mini bosses, have more than 32 HP and will not die from a single Hadoken. They are actually so incredibly powerful that you need at least 2 Hados to destroy them. So we see 3 runners on the same stage here, Niakky, Valves, and Kaz. Now, if I'm not mistaken from race 1, Niakky does not do Mammoth last, so he will still have Octopus to go after this, while Valves and Kaz are in fact on their final 8 Maverick here. So, yeah, still very sync on the top. Neither runner is really making big mistakes. We're gonna have, it's all gonna come down to the Sigma stages. Does Valves die again to Sigma 4? Does Kaz have another soft lock and then die twice in the Leap of Fate? Everything can happen, so I mean, place your bets. What's gonna make the difference, right? Sparkblob mid-boss is Thunder Slimer. He also takes a double Hadoken, I believe. Now, it's kind of funny if you think about it, because the normal Mavericks always die in one hit to the Hadoken, but yeah, then some of their mid bosses don't. So Tokyo and Niakky both on their final boss for the 8 Mavericks. Niakky after this will be going to the Sigma stages, and Tokyo will be taking a revisit the Penguin stage, unless I missed him doing that. But I do believe that he does it only after... Oh, Valves! Whew. That looked really close on the Sleep of Fate, but he did make it, and Kaz has to bail out, but luckily he realizes no, in time that he's not making it, but the platform eats his dash, and Valve's now taking a lead. There goes the sink. Goodbye. Platform disagrees with your race and decides that Valves is gonna get a little bit of an advantage. Kaz again having to bail out the Leap of Fate. Does pay attention this time. Does not get his dash eaten, and will be moving on. On Valves' end, we see the skip going through, and he probably has, I don't know, about 20 to 30. Probably, let's say he has a 20-second lead. Although I would have to, I will let you know in a second. I'll take a look. We have a health refill here at 21:22. So we'll see. Oh, it's actually going to be 20 seconds, I think. We'll see when the health refill is for Kaz. Is it 20 seconds? Huh. Yeah, it's definitely more than 20 seconds. Meanwhile, Tokyo on his way to his final Maverick after picking up the armor and all the items in Chameleon. And Niakky is dealing with Chameleon. Health refill at 51:54 for Kaz, meaning we have a 32-second difference between the runners on top. So Valves has a fairly nice lead if he takes any deaths that are not very costly, like at the very start of a fight or a stage, then he will still be okay. However, if he takes a death, a costly one, then very deep into a fight, then Kaz will catch back up and they will be tied. It's far from over, but I mean, Tokyo meanwhile trying to decide what weapons he's going to be using. Using a few too many boomerangs throughout that stage, so now doing some really weird things, throwing his boomerang into the ground rather than a chameleon. But finishes off, and Niakky, oh Niakky! Barely makes the last platform, but can't get out because he didn't kill the flyer, so has to opt for a poor, rather disappointing death there. We'll have to start over. He does not really want that happening, because while Tokyo does his refights, his revisits, and to certain stages, Niakky needs to progress to the Sigma stages, because when Tokyo pops him with the Hadoken, he's going to be really, really far ahead. And I guess Tokyo did pick up the Penguin Heart at some point already that I missed, because he went straight into the oh boy. I might be wrong, but yeah. Tokyo forgot the Penguin Heart. That's what I was thinking. I was looking. I know what it looks like to have a full HP bar, and it's really like your HP bar is slightly bigger than the ammo bar, and Tokyo didn't have that. So he did realize just in time that he still needed this heart before starting his revisits. This will cost him at least another like 15 seconds that Niakky needs to use to get ahead of him, because once Tokyo starts on the Sigma Fortress, he's going to be blazing through that with the Hado. So, meanwhile, Valves has gone into Sigma 1 as Kaz finishes off Bow Spider. That small lead for Valves. We'll have to see if he can keep it or not. Probably Sigma 2 will not prove too much of an issue unless Penguin and Eagle decide differently. However, yeah. Other than the RNG, the stage is not all that dangerous. Tokyo now visiting Sigma 1, and Tokyo, you were supposed to get the Penguin Heart and then pick up the Hado, but he promised he was gonna choke it away, and being smart butt Tokyo that he is either going to be a memer that does 97% and will now do the infamous Hundo no Hado route, where he gets everything except for the Hado, or he has just made a mistake and we will go back to pick it up right after Sig 1. I have no clue what this man is doing, but it's getting really weird at this point. Oh boy, what is going on, Tokyo? This man, I have no clue what he's up to anymore. I want to guess, but I don't know. I think he's gonna just go at 97%. But we tried to make this a category, but it never stood for long. We saw it more as a meme as anything, than anything else. But this does mean that Niakky has a bit of a lead in the signal for just that Tokyo can't very easily catch up to the fights with the one-shots. But it does mean that Niakky will just have to do really well on Sigma 4, since he will have only a little bit of safety, and Tokyo is going to sit there with a full suit of body armor. Niakky refills his HP for Bow Spider, not taking any risks on that. And Valves looking to one cycle the nose, gets it. That does save him a lot of time, not having to have the walls going back open and closing again. And as he gets out of the Rangda fight, Kaz is right behind him. Now initiating that fight, getting a... Oh. Getting a green eye somewhere at the start. It's not too bad. Now looks to one cycle the nose. That will be... Oh, he doesn't get a one cycle on the nose. That will cost him a little bit of time, having those walls open and close again. It's not too bad. It's better than dying, but you know, you prefer to just get through. Valves meanwhile gotten the Dillo skip. Does not have to fight Dillo anymore. That's always a boon. Dillo skip not really the hardest of tricks, but it's still fairly easy to miss it. Meanwhile, Tokyo getting slammed into the ceiling by Kawanger, but not really having too many issues with that, as he does have so much HP and protection. Niakky finished off Bow Spider, so honestly both bases are really close right now. Kaz also hitting the Dillo skip, only slightly behind Valves. Probably, I think Kaz actually got a little bit ahead of, not really ahead, but just caught up a little bit. I'll take a look in a second what times they get. And on the bottom we see Niakky is a bit ahead of Tokyo, so we'll have to see if he can hold on to that. RNG will play a matter in it, and well, Tokyo's promises of choking perhaps too. Two Mavericks exploding on the top side at the exact same time, getting finished off, Mandrill and Chameleon. And Kaz is 36 seconds behind on Valves, so I thought he caught up a little bit, but that was apparently just an illusion. Valves meanwhile taking a close look at those pufferfish, and Niakky taking on a first RNG boss of Sigma. The Spider goes down for Tokyo. And Valves looking to have his refight with Octo, doesn't seem to be getting... Gets pretty decent RNG right now, only one swirly so far. And it seems like we'll stay that way, so no big time losses for him in there. Kaz will opt as usual, very likely to cut the arms off of Octo, so he will have no RNG, but he does lose a bit of time automatically at the start of the fight to cut the arms, as the boomerangs do only 1 damage after all. Valves takes a quick HP refill and on his way to Mammoth and then D-Rex. Sadly, the game creators were so nice to always give you a health refill, except for the final boss, so you never really want to take a lot of damage on Mammoth preferably, but luckily this boss is not the most dangerous one in the game. He might be really big, but that's about it. So Valves going on to T-Rex, Niakky on to Rangda, gets a green eye, gets another green eye. Chris is, whoever gave him this bad orange hawk, gets a triple green eye. Wow, that's unfortunate. That's really poor RNG to get, but Valves making a good fight out of T-Rex. Clearly has not lost too much of his skill from back in his speedrunning days. And Niakky finishes off Rangda right as Tokyo finishes off Eagle. So I would say I think both racers are actually about on the same pace. Valves a bit over a half minute ahead of Kaz, and probably kind of the same for Niakky compared to Tokyo, by the looks of it. Valves now going on to Sigma 4. We do have to hope that he... Oh, Kaz dies! D-Rex launching a big spark ball right into his face. You'd usually want to dodge under that, but when you're already this close to the D-Rex body, you have no option of dashing away. So Kaz will be low on boomerangs right now for this fight. Needs to be a bit careful. And yeah, D-Rex trying to chomp down on him. That means Valves has a little bit more leeway in case anything does go wrong. Kaz has to finish that fight now with Buster. Alright, he gets it, so he can move on to Sig 4. Niakky, meanwhile, is going into Sigma 3, is now on his way to Chameleon, and Tokyo looking for the double skip. Tokyo gets the double skip. It's free. Valves finishes off the Jedi Sigma, and this is about the same that we saw last time. Only Kaz will already be in Sigma 4 now, so we're looking for Valves. Will he get good claws? Will he get troll claws? Kaz, I believe, I'm not sure. Kaz did pick up sub-tank, but did he use it? Yes or no? I am not really sure at this point. Valves gets up on the claw, takes his time to make sure that he is in a position where he cannot die. Knows that not dying is very important in these races, but the right claw pushes him back into the lightning, just like in race 1. And wow, that's very unfortunate for him, because that means that Kaz takes the lead again, and Valves will have to farm back up now. So unless we see a crucial mistake being made by Kaz, this race is his to lose right now. On the bottom, we see meanwhile Tokyo has caught up to Niakky. Niakky kills off Mandrill right as Tokyo starts the fight. So honestly, not much space between those two runners anymore. That looks like it's going to be really tight. Oh, people calling Kaz out that he's going to die in the chat. We'll have to see. He is a full HP. I believe he is well capable of taking 2 hits. Valves is now full HP and has all of his ammo again. And we see Kaz starting the fight. Oh, drops off the claw, but carefully moves his way back up. Takes his time. Does not want to get hit by lightning. Dodging first and shooting after. This is a smart decision to make. On the bottom, we see Niakky and Tokyo now neck and neck, both having Octo explode at the same time, and Kaz finishes in first place with an official race ball time of 33:57, meaning that he takes the race with Valves 2-0 and will be taking first place in their group, which is Group I, leaving Valves in second place for now. So we see Niakky and Tokyo both tackling Mammoth, getting really close. Valves now looking to take down Jedi on a second attempt. It's really, you have to feel a little bit sad for Valves, because I mean, twice in these races he was ahead and he got trolled by the claws. Twice in these races he you know, he got pushed into the lightning by the right claw, and that is a very, very bad feel when you get that happening. Because there is so little you can do. You might be in the middle of a jump and this claw comes over, is like, Yeah, I kind of feel like pushing you around at this point. We see, oh, it took another hit there. Valve's close to dying. On the bottom, we see boat racers have finished D-Rex. Very tight on the bottom. Niakky and Tokyo. Niakky is a couple seconds ahead, teleports out at the time of 35:18, and Tokyo teleports out at the time of 35:19. Meanwhile, Valves on the top has finished second place with an official race ball time of 35:20. Still a very respectable time, considering that I do not believe he has done a lot of D-Rust or practice to get back into shape for the tournament. So given that, and given the brutality of this category, that is still very good. Now we have to look at the bottom. What's going to happen? Hellbar synced up. Tokyo does the head dog strat and gets some quick hits in on the dog. Does take a couple hits now from Valgarder, and both Valgarders exploding right on the butt almost at the same time on Tokyo. Jedi comes in just 1 second quicker than on Niakky's screen. Ooh. Tokyo gets an early hit, so does Niakky. Niakky missing an early hit in there. We'll have to see. They don't want to miss too many hits, knowing that they are so close apart. It really looks right now that Tokyo is a lot more experienced in firing these hits along the wall to Jedi, and gets a little bit of a lead during this fight. So we'll have to see. Claws can still troll the crap out of Tokyo, but will they do so? Both of them going into Wolf Sigma. We see the claws rotating. Tokyo gets up for free, takes a lightning. If the man had any balls and gone any percent, he would probably be dead by now. 3 times over. Fortunately for him, he's a memer, he's still alive. Sub tank going for Niakky. Tokyo looking for some last hits and finishes with an official race bot time of 37:13. Niakky has taken a couple hits. It needs to be, oh, really careful. Do not die, please. Please do it. No! Niakky, what are you doing? Well, getting smashed down by a claw, that's what he's doing. Poor Niakky. We'll have to take a little bit longer to finish up here. And yeah, that means that the boat races will actually be over. Kaz and Tokyo taking victories over Valves and Niakky. This means that Tokyo will probably in the lead for his group. I believe that is... that was the first race in the group, so yeah, Tokyo taking first place for now. So Niakky spending some time farming up, gets in a 1-up, some ammo, some HP. And now we'll be looking to go back up there and finishing his race. There are more races to be done today. I would have to take a look. Let me just see. We have a MMX command, and we should have a schedule right there. The schedule should indicate that there are more races coming in today. In fact, in an hour or 2 or 3, at 10:30 my time, means that it's in 3 hours from now. You will have a race between NRG Zam and Hazy Perspective, and a race between once again Tokyo and Nalasaki. So don't worry if you want more MMX, there's definitely more coming up. Meanwhile, Niakky is attempting to finish the game. Give this man some love in the chat. He needs all the support he can get. The time is EST on the schedule, so I live in Europe, in Belgium, so it's 7:30 for me. Basically, it's in 3 hours from now, so. So, Niakky finishing off Jedi, now looking to take on Final Sigma once again. Come on, do it! Claws letting him up, some lightning flying around, lightning sparks from the head, some fire wave. It's kind of cool how they use the same weapons, but they oh no! Niakky takes a lightning straight through the foot. You would say it's not really a big deal to get a lightning on your foot, but unfortunately this game it zaps you all the way down to oblivion. So we'll have to wait and see as he farms up again and takes another shot at it. No problem. We got some time. Poor guy. So meanwhile, I would like to point out that these races today have been brought to you by Kazmazotz, Valves22, Tokyo90, and Niakky. Valves was mostly known as an X1 runner, now mostly retired. Tokyo plays mostly X2, I believe, these days, and some Yu-Gi-Oh! Kaz speedruns X1, and I want to tell you what Niakky does, but unfortunately I don't know him that well. So I guess he plays X1 right now, but I do not know what other content he can bring you. Still, all of them are doing really great races here, so I would say they all deserve a couple follows, so you guys better get to work. And bob those follow buttons. The lightning is not an instant kill. The lightning is simply just really powerful. The lightning does a whole lot of damage, like 12 damage. So in low percent, you have 14 HP, and the lightning does 12 damage. So like, what, 90% of your HP, pretty much. Yeah. Also, thank you for pointing out what Niakky runs, or used to run, TKC2 and Mega Man 2. So if you like all of that stuff that Goofy mentions, go and follow Niakky. But you know, y'all came here from Mega Man X1 and they all run that. Just follow these people, jeez. So, Niakky back on the final fight. Looking to take down that stupid head that's bopped him twice by now. Oh, gets troll. Oh my god, these claws, what is this? Has to pop his sub tank right off the bat. I think Niakky is very much set up with nerves right now. He did say in the previous race that after he died to Wolf Sigma that he felt really nervous taking on this fight. And he seems to be taking a little bit of a casual route, staying in the middle now until a claw picks him up. Not wanting to risk climbing up along a wall in case the claws push him back in. And we really do see that he's taking his time. But, you know, he just wants to finish right now. Tokyo's already done, so are the others. And there we go. Finishes the final Sigma form, Wolf Sigma, with an official race ball time of 42:44. Don't worry, Niakky, we've all been there. Wolf Sigma is quite difficult. It can happen to the best of us. So, yeah, he did get pretty crap claws. So that means we have victories for Kazmazotz and Tokyo, both of them taking leads in their respective groups. Valves and Niakky, of course, are not out of the game yet. Niakky still has 2 races to go, can still easily bop people for second place. Valves as well. Still has a couple races to go, can still easily climb up. Actually, in Valves and Kazmazotz rates, there is still potential for a 3-way tie. So we'll just have to see how that moves along. And Alright, meanwhile I see that Valves has to go out to pick up some groceries, so he won't be able to interview. But let us see if anyone else is interested in having a little talk. Tokyo, meanwhile, proudly announcing his Hundo no Hado and to Niakky in the YesRL chat. Niakky thanking all of you for that Spirit Bomb energy that blew up Final Sigma. I see we have Kaz waiting too. I will wonder if Tokyo's paying attention because he was the only one not looking into things right now. I will drag Kaz in for the start, I suppose. Hello, Kaz. Oh, and I do get an update that Tokyo is going to pass on an interview. Probably does not want to defend himself on his title of Dirty Memer. But I mean, just follow the guy and give him some crap in his chat instead. That will be fine too.
dirty memer. What did he do?
He played Hundo no Hado. He went and picked up all the items, and then he went to the Dillo stage and forgot the penguin heart, and then he left the Dillo stage, picked up his penguin heart, and then he had his all fooled, thinking he was gonna pick up the Hadoken, but then he just went to Sigma and said, "I'm gonna do Hundo no Hado," 97%.
So he got all of that crap, didn't get the Hado, and still finished with the 3711.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
Wow, that's just a horrible time.
Yeah, well, I mean, he did have some weird things going on. Anyway, Kaz, congrats on your race victory today against Valves. Did you expect this, or?
Yes and no. I didn't expect both of us to put piece of crap times up. I was expecting both of us to be running mid to high 32s, not mid to high 35s. But, you know, I knew it was going to be a close race coming in, and I wanted to... I didn't like the way that I ran against Prince a couple weeks ago. I felt like I was just kind of on autopilot doing all the safe strats and, you know, playing to not lose. And, you know, coming in here against Valves today, I needed to be as aggressive as possible to have any shot at beating him. And then Leap of Faith happened, and that's why I don't go for Leap of Faith, because every time I go for it, I leap and I have faith that I'm not going to make it, and that's pretty much what happened there. And then I lost a couple dash inputs, and then the Jamminger trolled me twice, and then softlock. Screw softlock, yo.
Yeah, Sigma 1 was a rough stage for you today. I believe I was race 1, actually. We all kind of thought that Valves had a huge lead after this, but apparently a little bit of rust still shining through on the man, as he did die twice to Final Sigma. But we have to say that the claws really help you out. Like, honestly, it's hard to blame Valves for his deaths on Final Sigma, because on both his deaths in both races, the right claw pushed him into a lightning. It was rather unfortunate to see.
So Sigma's got my back then.
Yeah, I think you need to give that man a little tip, because he really helped you out there. He was ahead in both races, but twice that lightning strike with the right claw was quite the unbeatable combo. Yeah. Meanwhile, we also have Niakky over here who has joined us. Hello.
Hello.
So, how are you feeling about your races? A little bit of a rough end there with Sigma.
Yeah, scared of wolves.
Yeah, you did mention after race 1 that you were a little bit scared of Wolf Sigma. You really looked like you had the jitters there. Although overall your runs were pretty good, I would say. Just that final Sigma really kind of beating up on you.
Yeah, I've practiced him a lot. But anyway, when he was low on health, I got really nervous in the first race, and then I think in the second race I started nervous. So that's a huge problem with Wolf Sigma. You have to be confident, and I wasn't. Oh, well.
Yeah, that is true. It can happen. Wolf Sigma is a really big threat for you if you're not on point with your gameplay. How did you feel about going up in your race against Tokyo? Tokyo is quite a strong runner in the X series. Did you think you had a chance, or did you just think, I'm gonna do what I can, but it's probably gonna be pretty tough out here? Or how did you go into this?
I thought I was going to try to do a PV, and that's it. I was watching the stream just to watch the other two and see who was second, third, and fourth, because I thought Tokyo was going to end first. And in the second race, I was enjoying his Hundo no Hado.
Yeah, went a little bit meme on you. I really kind of wanted to ask him about that, but sadly he did prefer to pass on the interview.
I read in the chat that that was disrespectful. I don't think so. I mean, he was going to win, and he wanted to do another show, and that was a huge show. So I don't think he did that just to make me feel bad or disrespect me. I don't think so. I
Yeah,
want to say that.
it's hard to tell what's in his mind when he's not here. But I mean, it's good that you have a good mindset going into this, saying, "Oh, it's gonna be tough to beat him, so I'm just gonna go and try to PB and do my best." I think that's the best you can do as a runner at any time. Is just give it your best shot and see where you end up.
Yeah, thank you for the chat and the support because, for example, I died in Penguin in race 2, and I got like, man, I was tilted, and I read the chat and people were like, "Go Niakky," and that really cheered me up when you are in a
Yeah.
race in that mood. So thank you.
Yeah, that's always the nice thing about having a lot of people watching out there, that you can just go and have everyone support you.
Yeah.
Yeah, how are you guys still have a couple races coming up. Kaz, you're looking to potentially take first place. Is that free or what's up with that?
Nothing's free in any percent. That is very, very much unexpected. I do have to put together, 2 more good runs against Conster whenever he wants to schedule that race. So until those 2 good runs go down, anything can happen. Right now, realistically, if Conster were to beat me and beat Venus Prince as well, it would be a 3-way tie at 2-1.
Yep.
And a 3-way tie at 2-1 would go to best PB. So Val's got me on that one. So I still got to put 2 more good races together somehow, and keep going the way we're going.
Yep.
I was finally able to cut the 33, established a 3250 PB. So I did that about 2 days ago. So I was coming in here on the high, feeling good, and spider stage, screw that.
Yeah. Just you know what to practice for next race. And for you, Niakky, this was the first race in your group. There's still a lot of stuff that can happen. You gonna take second place for free, or?
No, I don't think so. It's gonna be free. But well,
chat, I don't think you helped this guy enough. Second place is free. Go tell him.
I don't think so, but I want to give everything I have and feel confident on Wolf Sigma and be free of him and feel good. That's what I want.
All right. Well, I think we're gonna. Oh, if anyone else.
One more thing.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
I was actually going through some of my VODs the other day, and I came across a VOD on my channel about 2 years ago. Of course, I've deleted it now. But actually, Drago, you were here for this live. Exactly 2 years ago, I had to take a hiatus from streaming for health issues. And I just wanted to give a shout out, looking back at that VOD and, thinking about how far I've come over the past 2 years as far as, becoming healthy and stuff like that. And it was always really nice to be able to hop onto Discord and talk to Drago and Crystal and Colonel Fatso and Walrus and really kind of push me through, those hard times. And, I'm not going to necessarily say I wouldn't be here without you guys, but man, you guys made it so much easier for me to really recover. And while I don't think I'll ever fully recover, I don't think I'll ever be 100%, 85%, 90%, wherever the hell number I am right now is a lot better than the 20, 30% that I was. So it was actually kind of, when I was looking back on this, sentimental that not only 2 years later, I get to, race in the tournament, and I get to kind of say that I'm pretty much back. But I also get to race against Valves, who was actually my very first Mega Man X follower as far as the speedrunning community goes. Like, when I started running this game 3 years ago, he was the first person to come to my chat and support my channel and, really motivate me to keep playing the game. So, it's been a rough 2 years, but it's good to say that I'm finally back, and I wanted to say thank you to everybody.
My only answer to that is chat, please spam Bible Thump. Yeah, that is a rather emotional thing. I remember that time. I was indeed at that time at your chat. We should probably talk about that a little bit later, because I kind of wanted to wrap this up. So there was a nice couple of races for anyone interested in more Mega Man X any percent tournament. Please return in I believe 2.5 hours for Tokyo versus Lackey and Zam versus AZ Perspective. That will be another couple nice races for today. If you want something to watch right now, I see we have a couple other speed gaming channels live. Super Mario Odyssey any percent on Speed Gaming 4, and a Resident Evil Marathon on Speed Gaming 3, and more Super Mario Odyssey any percent on the main Speed Gaming channel. So when we are done here, scoot to anywhere you want. If you want more MMX specifically right now, I see Tokyo and Niakky and Kaz are still live, so you can also go there. Please do follow the runners. Thank your favorite speed gaming crew. Fiesel is still here with us somewhere. Thank that guy for restreaming all the time. Thank you for notifying that LTTP Reno. It will be here next. I suppose that will be in 10 minutes or so. Then, as we're close to 8 o'clock, and that will be it for me. I was happy to cast this double race, and I will see you guys later.
Thank you, Drago. Thank you, Fiesel.
Thank you, Drago and Fiesel. Bye.